All right, it's time for a mail call podcast.
Ooh, my favorite part of the week.
Is it?
Well, no.
I was gonna say Wednesday is probably
part.
your favorite.
I do like this, like the interaction with the listeners, but no, Wednesday is definitely my favorite.
You just like being turned loose.
Yeah, man. Talk about all our zany adventures and sexual misconduct and all this kind of stuff.
Primarily yours, but I'm here.
Yeah, I got an awful head cold.
Do you?
But I'm persevering.
Everybody's got something right now.
Yeah, man. Well, I talked about my Sunday trip with Skippy yesterday, and he had a cold, and just being in the car with him,
And being on those shrooms probably made you a little susceptible to.
Yeah, maybe the mushrooms kind of interfered with my
immune system. Yeah, it could have. For those that don't know us, I'm Justin.
Oh, and I'm JP.
And we are the Podcasting Dead. Obviously, we talk a little bit about The Walking Dead, but we have definitely branched out, and now I think we have several different types of podcasts, so stick around. I don't want to tell you to go subscribe before you see what we're all about and see if you actually like us, but if you are that kind of person, then go ahead and subscribe. But if not,
do it.
Hang around throughout the podcast, and if you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification. If you're listening on SoundCloud, follow us, hit the heart button, all that good stuff, and stick around because after the podcast, we're going to give our social media info so you can be a little bit more intimate with us.
Not that I've been using anything lately.
Yeah, I need to step my game up. I did Snapchat my girlfriend's cats yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
I found all of these great videos that are made for cats, and they're so funny because that sounds so lame, I know. But
no, it sounds
it's
great,
stuff
man.
moving on the TV, and they chase after it, and it's just a really fun way to keep them off the kitchen table.
But man, one thing with Snap, I know, same with you. I've actually got to communicate with some of our listeners.
That's what I love so much about it, because we've got some
really
of the
cool people out there.
sweetest listeners, so it's always great talking to them. Well, let's jump into it, starting with last week's mail call video. Dana the Doula says, mail call from an older podcast. This kind of, I guess, shows you what we're about right out the gate.
Right.
You can't get a UTI from anal sex. JP, I'm pretty sure that was she's talking to you.
Really?
You were talking about getting a UTI from anal. You're likely thinking of bacterial vaginosis or a yeast infection, which could occur if you've had anal sex than vaginal sex because nobody wants their own feces in their vag. A lovely way to start out this week's pod.
Even still, wouldn't that fecal matter get up your pee hole one way or the other?
I doubt it. Pee holes are teeny tiny.
I'm going to need a second opinion on this.
It would get up in your main sex hole. Because that's a much bigger hole. Pee holes are teeny tiny.
I'm talking about like my pee hole.
Okay. So Dana, JP's talking about the male getting.
Yeah, I'm talking about me getting.
Okay.
I ain't worried about you, darling. I'm talking about my pee hole.
And she says, I do know more about vaginas than I care to admit. Doula life. So when are you going to put up the other half of this mail call? Is it on SoundCloud? Sign up just to hear you guys, but found a ton of other great podcasts too. Well, you can. This is an open relationship, Dana. You're allowed to visit with other podcasts, but we're always your main podcast. Yeah. Just remember that. But no, unfortunately, I didn't get the second half up because between work and now, we're podcasting at least 4 days a week. So between work and then getting these up, I just didn't have time to go back around and get that second half up. I hate that it cut it off for you guys, but you probably didn't miss a lot.
So one of our mail calls got cut in half?
Yeah, I was telling you about it the other day. The mail call last week, for some reason, I did it on Fillmore and everything else just came out right, but it cut the audio off halfway through. Huh. Not sure why, but now I've been double checking everyone this week. So.
Right.
But yeah, so sorry about that, Dana, but thank you so much for sticking with us. Ty Powell says, am I the only one who hopes during the Pike reveal they have an hour clock noise going for the sound? Each time they show a Pike, it makes a dung sound.
That'd be cool.
That is cool. I was thinking like ticking, like tick. It shows ahead, tick, shows ahead, tick, shows, but it's like all quiet, but that ticking.
I was thinking like a wind blowing through like a field of wheat, that like rustling sound, but then, it pans over and the sound's actually coming from the wind, blowing through like dreadlocks.
Or it's not even wind, it's the zombie heads moaning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's because after they get beheaded, they're going to become zombies. So.
Yeah.
Let's see. One So True says, I just heard an interesting question from another podcast. How do you think Rick will look in the films being held by this unknown group? The old man Rick from the dream sequence in season 8 or Grizzly Rick from season 6? Looking at the fight again between Daryl and Beta, I didn't see any blood coming from Daryl. At least he could have looked like he was hurt after that fight. Has Daryl ever taken a brutal beating by anyone on the show? Didn't he fight the Claimers? Yeah, he got his ass. I mean, they jumped him, but I mean, it was multiple on one. But yeah, he got beat down pretty good by the Claimers. Shot by Dwight, and he looked kind of beat up there. But yeah, I very much enjoyed it, and I think it's one of the best fights in The Walking Dead history. However, absolutely. I do think Beta did put a hurting on Daryl, but I think Daryl should have definitely looked. It should have really been something that stuck with Daryl for a few episodes. Kind of like when Rick got his ass whooped by the governor. Remember how for the next episode or so he was real bruised up and kind of. Right. I absolutely think that we should have had that from this fight. I mean, I know it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but you're not really going to watch Chihuahuas whoop up on German Shepherds that much. I mean, ultimately, if these two are committed to throwing down, the German Shepherd's going to bite that little bastard in half. So I'm cool with Daryl winning the fight ultimately, but I'm going to say that, Daryl definitely should be kind of banged up right now. And maybe he will be. We haven't seen maybe the next episode or two, which it didn't look like it in the previews, but maybe he'll be limping or something.
I mean, look, he's a country boy. Country boys are tough.
But so was Rick.
Yeah, he wasn't like a country boy. He was like a city country boy.
No, Rick is country. Daryl's straight up redneck.
Yeah, Daryl's a real deal country boy.
Let's see here. Tyler Espereza says, I think the spinoff should either be Rick's brother Jeffrey leading another group of people in some other country or Clementine's story. Some say that's just another Walking Dead, but this universe is going to be around for decades. Why not produce content the fans want to see? What are your thoughts? I think the brother thing would be cool, but I really would be down for the Clementine thing. I really think the Clementine thing would be awesome. JP doesn't know anything about it because he hadn't played the game.
I think it would be cool.
Clementine's that whole like the Michonne game that you played. It's fun, but it's very slow. The Clementine games aren't like they're much better paced, I think, and the story is a lot more interesting. The only reason when we did play the game, I opted to play the Michonne one with you is because it was actually canon with the comics. So I thought it'd be cool for you just to see what she was doing on that boat when she went away in the comics for a while. But the Clementines are definitely more entertaining.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I want to see a Walking Dead with like a rogue group of military scientists, investigating what's going on.
Zod4, thanks for the advice for the putting the playlist on the homepage, but that actually wasn't. My issue isn't creating the playlist, it's getting that playlist onto the homepage. If you could tell me how to do that, you're already awesome, but you would be awesome squared if you could just tell me how to get my created playlist onto the homepage, because after a certain, it's just not letting me put any new ones on there. It used to be a little button that said add section, and then you could click playlist and select the playlist, and boom, it'd be on your page, and you could move it up or down. And now I don't see that option anymore. Eternal Rex says, have y'all seen the Resident Evil 2 remake? I haven't played it yet, but I just ordered it, and the graphics and it looks fun and sick graphics, which we responded to that. Yeah, man, I've beat that game now like 6 times. I've started on hardcore, but I've beat it on both characters, A and B scenarios, on both assisted and on standard. So that would be technically, like 8 times I've beat it now. But nice. I love it. I can't get enough of it, and I really do hope that 3 or Nemesis is the next one. Jovi Gal says, I know how Justin knows JP's socials better than JP does. I like the idea. I do know JP better than JP thinks I do, and I know JP better than JP I think knows JP. But I definitely know him a lot better than he thinks I do. She also says, I like the idea of the paranormal podcast series. I'd tune in for something like that. Speaking of things left of center, JP, you teased us with the little conspiracy truther stuff in a recent episode. Any idea when you're going to get off your lazy, sad ass? And she didn't say that. I threw the lazy, sad ass.
Oh, my gosh.
Any idea when you're going to find some time to gather your thoughts to make an episode on all that good stuff? Oh, but that's not my mail call question. I was wondering, since you're also into the what ifs and the how-abouts, have you watched any Black Mirror? Thoughts? That's open to both of you. Number one, JP, you've actually got several you're going to have to address in this podcast asking about your truth seekers, and because you were in charge of that, so they want to know when it's going to, because if I was in charge of it, we already would be on like week 7. So they're wondering when you're going to make it happen.
The information's gathered, but right now I'm working a weekend job. I work a couple nights a week, but that's winding down, probably only another week or 2 of that. So once that's over,
we're going to get his head straight when he goes backpacking with us so that he comes back fresh and ready for some truth seekers.
Might lick some toads out there. We'll see.
Whatever floats your boat. I really thought you were going to say lick some toes, and I was going to say I better not wake up in the tent with you licking on my toes.
I mean, look, man,
we're 4,000, 5,000 feet in the air on top of a mountain. I can make you disappear very easily.
Well, you gotta get protein from somewhere.
I woke up in the morning and everything he had was just there. I'm scared maybe he was a little too messed up and fell off the mountain.
And then they find my DNA like beneath your toenails, and that's it for you, brother.
I'd be like, then I'd have to lie and be like, well, we got a little kinky the night before, but I think it's because he was messed up. I've watched all of Black Mirror. Have you watched Black Mirror?
I've watched like the first season. I haven't watched all of it.
I love it, man. I liked Bandersnatch okay. I thought it was a little slow, but I really was thinking they were bringing out a whole new season here soon, but no luck yet. Yeah, I absolutely love Black Mirror. I think it's awesome. Justin and JP go silent approximately 26 mark. Oh, sorry about that. Charstel, I hope I said that right. RR. Again, same thing I said for the last one.
Is that the software issue?
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but so let's see. What if the zombie apocalypse happened while I'm listening to Justin talking about the zombie apocalypse? Oh, talking about how it just cut out while we were talking about the zombie apocalypse. And it's
snap.
like, that would be dope, man. Maybe in a few hours I'd come like bursting through your door and be like, come with me, we have to go. Like, how the hell did you get here? How did you know where I live? Yeah. You guys are the creepiest podcasters ever. Let's see. Just knock 3 times and say the password, get in that butt so I know you're still one of the living. And if knowing JP, he might be knocking on the door to get that butt, so you got to watch out.
Yeah.
Let's see. Brianne McCann, longtime listener, says, hey, guys, feeling spoiled this week from all the podcasts. Here's my mail call question to you both. Biggest pet peeve working on the radio station. Let's hear them, guys. Have a good rest of your week. Thank you, Dana. I mean, not Dana. I'm sorry. Thank you, Brianne. Jesus, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I promise I remember all of your names. Brianne. Well, I'm JP's manager, so I really don't need him listing too many complaints now.
I think you and I both have the same.
No, we level. We level. Just creative barriers.
Yeah,
people.
That's it.
People. Then I won't say any names. The random ramblings is where we go off. This one I'll keep it kind of more professional. But the some of the powers to be just don't. They're not even in our area. And they don't allow. We know how JP and I would definitely be able to take our stations, kazoo tight, and adapt them to the changes. Adapt to with the changes needed to make this area just love us even more. And it's just basically like all creativity is halted.
Yeah,
regardless of how long I've been in radio, it's just like, oh, screw your decade plus experience. I'm not. This is what the studies say, and by gosh, that's what we're going to stick to.
Yep, we're ideas guys, and we're ruled over by like numbers guys.
Right,
they look at statistics, and I mean, you can't live your life by statistics.
Well, the sad thing is, it's turning us into numbers guys, and I say that because we're looking at the numbers and seeing that the numbers that they're getting are definitely not what they're thinking they're going to get when they go to these boring routines. They would allow a little creativity. We think that it could just blow these stations to take them to a whole new level.
Yeah, we need an edge, and that would give us an edge over streaming services and other stations. And anyway, don't get us started on that.
Yeah. Thank you, Brianne. Jeep. Did anyone else have a problem with the sound cutting off in 26? Yep. You're not the only one, Jeep. But thank you so much for listening. Phyllis says, guys, the audio went out. Yep. Jeep says, we all know what JP was really doing when he left the room. You did have a pretty good idea for the spinoff of the CDC scientist, JP. Mail call. Where do you suppose the president and vice president are? I would think they're scurried down the rabbit hole when this all first started, but you would also think they brought enough firepower and manpower to have been able to clear a lot of area by now. I don't know, man. I feel like I don't know, man. I definitely think that they would be alive and there would be some form of government. It just would be a lot smaller scale, and they would, through the years, try to spread out. But
I might be wrong about this. Isn't there some kind of like doomsday bunker in like the Colorado mountains or
something?
They
say it is, yeah.
Where they go in case
it's supposed to be. It's like the whole side of the mountain opens up. Yeah. So. Could be. Javier, hashtag mail calls. Hello, guys. Justin, I respect your opinion about getting a Negan spinoff, but I would rather see Clementine spinoff. That would really be awesome. But what we're talking about, though, was comic spinoffs, not show spinoff. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying I want to see Negan, show Negan on his own spinoff. I want to see comic Negan. Because, I mean, I would definitely be down for a Clementine spinoff, too, but Clementine's not in the comics. So when we were having that discussion last week, I was thinking more along the lines of, like, spinoffs based on what we have so far in the comics. And right now, the only thing of, that would work is the Negan spinoff. But no, show Negan spinoff. I mean, I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, but I don't think I would. I mean, it might be good, but that wouldn't be my first pick for a spinoff if it were talking about the show.
Right.
That's just a comic deal. And if you read the comics, Negan, though he's cool in the show, Negan in the comics is awesome. Like one of the best characters on The Walking Dead.
He could definitely carry his own book.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. JP, my sister loves your voice. She thinks of you as you would be Alan from the Hangover movie.
Which one was Alan?
Alan was...
Is that Zach Galifianakis?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I love Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, have you ever watched his stand-up, man?
And, dude. What was it, live at the something? He had the piano, but...
Yeah.
No, I'd love to,
yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. That's awesome.
No, I love your sister. Tell her feel free to FaceTime me or whatever.
And there you go. You got to realize whenever you throw a female into it, JP's going to hit on her. It's really awkward at family reunions, but
it can be.
It is who he is. James says, I would like to hear a paranormal podcast, and I'm still waiting for the Conspiracy Truth Seekers podcast. Hopefully you got some closure on that a little bit earlier.
Yes.
We're going to hopefully start that next month, and I am hoping we're going to get our friend Jessie to meet in our town. We're going to ride up here. Basically, she's agreed to come up here to this studio, and we're going to do a podcast because she's had some creepy paranormal experiences, and JP and I would love to kind of dissect them. And
maybe
she's got quite the imagination, as we've said
knock
before.
out both in one day, maybe.
But yeah, so Dana the Doula again says, JP, do you prefer to? I'm sorry, I'm having a moment. JP, how do you prefer to imbibe your drugs? Just started getting into medical marijuana. I've been trying creams. Vaping, but I don't have any pot expert. I love that, which I guess I don't know. I don't really promote my personal life that much.
Right.
But I'd say I love that she goes to you, and it's just like, oh, well, you know what? I'll keep my habits to myself then, JP. But no, since you're the one asked, JP, how do you do it?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about Mary Jane, we live in a non-legalized state, so our means are a little bit more limited. But I really enjoy the like the hash capsules, like the cartridges where you can vape it in a pen. You get a very strong. I mean,
definitely the better.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a whole body thing.
But I'm just a glass bowl guy, to be honest. I mean, I like other stuff, but like I said, it's not readily available, so I just kind of
go for some edibles.
Yeah, I like edibles. Just you need like a whole day with the
not
edibles.
saying I do drugs.
No, of course not. I do lots of drugs.
Edibles are the shiznit, man. Like, I mean, but don't get nothing too strong though. I mean, like for instance, like if you get a gummy, if you don't have a high tolerance to it, then you might want to eat half the gummy. Don't eat the whole thing. Or if you get a cookie, eat half the cookie. Don't eat because if you eat the whole thing, then it's going to put you wherever you are for a while. It's going to stick around for a while. But I mean, half, man, it gives you a couple of good hours of.
Yeah, I mean, eat what you want to eat. Just make sure you've got like the day off. You don't have to go anywhere.
Right.
It's going to linger.
Let's see. From SSSCR85, longtime listener as well. Hashtag mail call. Have you guys seen the Netflix movie Cargo? It's pretty good. You should check it out. It's based on a short film you can find on YouTube. No, but I am screenshotting your comment here so that I could go home and find it, especially if it's a movie, because I really do need a new show, but at the same time, I'm not trying to get into any new shows right now, so I got enough going.
Afterlife, only 6 episodes. Beautiful story. Afterlife, Ricky Gervais.
Brian Akeem says, how can we root for Henry, who's had 2 seasons on the show? I mean, Ken was more liked in just 5 minutes. R.I.P. Ken.
Who the F is Ken? Again, I don't know. But yeah, I hate Henry too.
Did you hate Ken?
If I could recall who he was, it'd be one thing. But
I mean, he's only the Saddest loss the show's ever had, if you were to ask Brian. For sure. Now let's move to this week's review and discussion of episode 13, right? That's what it was.
Yes.
See if we got any mail calls in there. I know we got a mail call on one of our other ones. Let's see. Somebody agree with me that Beta is definitely the Mr. X of The Walking Dead.
Oh, there you go.
Let's see. No, I don't. From Ryan Irby, what happened to the Conspiracy Podcast? Hopefully you're listening to this,
Ryan.
Ryan.
Coming down the pike.
Let's see. And I agree with this person. Says Michonne versus the Governor was a kick-ass fight too. Hell yeah, it was. That's when I fell in love with Michonne. I was like, man, she's a badass. I think. Jovi Gal says, Justin, watch Mayans MC if you're looking for something new to get stuck onto. Yeah, I've heard it's a good show. JP, no lie, I just watched Afterlife 2 days ago, and I couldn't agree more. It's really good, dark but funny. Have you seen Derek?
I haven't seen Derek.
I haven't talked to Derek in a while. All right, let's see. Sorry for the little spells of quiet, but I'm just kind of reading through. Pert Minded says, watch The Leftovers, one of the best series, I think, in some time. It's on HBO.
Huh.
I'm looking for hashtag mail calls and not seeing. I don't think I see any more. I'm probably skipping some questions and stuff. I'm trying to throw stuff in there, but. All right, now let's go to, gosh, what have we had since last week's mail call? We had... I
looked on the Wednesday podcast. I didn't see any questions on that.
Okay, let's go to the current events then. Maybe that's where one was.
Check.
Current events Tuesdays, which if you haven't started listening to that, I recommend it. That's a fun podcast.
Yeah, it's fast-paced. It's,
like a morning show. What the heck? I saw a hashtag mail call. No.
I found one on the Wednesday one.
All right, let's hear it.
You want to hear it?
Let's hear it.
From Eternal Wreck, just a random thought. Which universe would you rather see as zombies, Marvel or DC?
Yeah, we've already had Marvel as zombies. We haven't had DC as zombies.
Well, kind of, sort
we?
of. Blackest Night was a summer event where all the dead heroes are resurrected by the Black Lantern ring, and they're controlled by Necron. So it's like Black Lantern, Aquaman, Black Lantern, like Hawkman and Hawkgirl, and then eventually all the which I want to anyway. Fuck the heroes who had died in the past and been resurrected. You know, there was Death of Superman, this and that. You know, they turned them into Black Lanterns. It was one of the better efforts from DC as far as like a big like crossover went.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people.
Yeah, dude, Blackest Night. That was dope.
They've got the trade over at the comic shop.
Yeah,
I think.
man, really recommend it. So I probably like Blackest Night better than Marvel Zombies, but Marvel Zombies was heartbreaking, man. When you see Peter Parker like swinging to his apartment and he's been bit, and then he ends up just devouring Mary Jane and Aunt May, man, like Marvel Zombies, dude, was intense.
Robert Kirkman wrote some of the Marvel Zombies, right? Yeah. Because I remember reading some of them when I was really young, the Marvel Zombies, because as soon as I saw the cover, again, back when I was young and could get comics from Food Lion, I remember seeing the zombie on the cover, and I was like, oh, I love zombies, and I love Marvel. And so, boom. I think that about wraps it up, though. I think we got most of the questions.
I'd like to think so.
If we missed yours, please just ask it again in this week's Mail Call podcast, and we'll get to it next week. I'm so sorry to be yawning.
We'll be all right.
Let's think. Before we wrap up, social media info. Mine is super simple, all lowercase, no apostrophes, any kind of punctuation, just I'm Justin Lloyd, and that's 2 L's in Lloyd. So I'm Justin Lloyd on Snapchat, Periscope, and Instagram. JP is J_Radsaw on Snapchat and at JP Slim, all lowercase on Periscope.
That's it.
So come follow us, hang out with us. We love you so much. We wouldn't keep doing what we do if it was not for you. It's cheesy. You always hear, which we definitely not even on the radar of being celebrities. But what I mean is you always hear like celebrities and musicians and athletes and all these famous people go, I couldn't do what I do without support from, my fans or my listeners or whatever. And like that is so true with you guys, because we probably would have, if we didn't have such awesome, nice, caring, just listeners like we do. Some of the best I've seen on any podcast, just listeners that are genuinely interested and concerned. I don't know that we would still be doing it.
Yeah, hard to say.
So, we really appreciate you, which is why we try to come out with more content for you each week. Try to switch it up with some new stuff so you don't get bored of us too easily. But we will see you again on Monday as we recap episode 14 of The Walking Dead, and I think we're going to get some backstory on this one. So finally going to figure out what's going on with the exes on Michonne and Daryl. So we shall see, but I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.
Yep.